News First, Newsline Prime with Faraz Shaukatali.
So here we go, Mr. Gunasekara. What happened yesterday? Good evening to you, Mr. Gunasekara. What happened to you yesterday at the all-party conference?
Of course, all the leaders of all political parties were present.
Yeah.
And the Prime Minister and the senior cabinet ministers were present. And the President presided over it.
Yeah.
And it was well represented. I think not a single, practically I think all leaders were there.
Okay.
And there was a good response. And all expressed their solidarity with the President.
Right.
And the positive side was that.
Right.
Then he explained the substance, certain matters.
Right.
Mainly, he said there's a talk in the town that there was a security lapse.
Yeah.
And that I was not aware of it.
Yeah.
And then he admitted, he said I was not aware. He was not aware.
Oh, right. He did admit that.
He has it. Then he said the so-called intelligence report from a friendly country had been sent to the intelligence.
He didn't specify the country?
No, he didn't mention the name.
Okay.
It's a friendly country.
Okay.
And was sent to the intelligence section, our intelligence.
Right.
And they referred it to the Secretary of Defense.
Right.
And the Secretary of Defense apparently had sent it down to IG and Deputy for necessary action.
Right.
It had been going, he says, these very words, he says from 4th of April till 12th or 13th of April, these papers are going up and down.
Right.
For next action, for necessary action and all that.
Yeah.
And he said it's never brought to his notice.
Right.
And he said,
yes.
And he said, on the New Year, single New Year day, for Defense Ministry, Defense Secretary and IGP both came with beetle leaves and offered him. And eat kiribat and went off, and they were never mentioned anything about such intelligence reports. And he left for Tirupati on 16th. And I got the news of the blast when he was in Singapore. And friend of his came and showed his that there's
a blast.
Blast as well as letter circulating in the media emanating from Director General, DIG letter.
Yes.
Apparently sent to the MD, MSc, ministers and MPs and all that.
Apparently sent to them.
Yeah.
Right.
So that is what he said.
That's what he said.
What he said.
Was there any comment?
The comment, first comment was myself. I took he asked for comments.
Yeah.
Say I spoke about 15 minutes. And first I said I don't want to touch upon what really happened.
Yeah.
Now we'll have to look forward and see what we could do to arrest the situation.
Yeah.
But anyway, I want to make one remark. I told the President and the Prime Minister and all. I said, when there's intelligence reports saying that there's going to be a blast, suicide squad, aimed at churches and hotels, how is that it was but not your notice? You head of the state.
You asked?
I asked.
Yeah.
I asked.
And he said?
Then I said, apparently, and obviously there's a security lapse and disregard of intelligence reports.
Yeah.
I told him, President, you can't say that IG did not report to him and Defense Secretary did not report to him. We are not worried about those things. That is for you to decide. It's an internal matter for the ministry or the President. You can take any action, disciplinary action. We as voters, I said, we have elected you and the Parliament.
Yeah.
We have entrusted the task of national security to the President and the Parliament. And therefore you have a bounden duty to safeguard national security. So this is a national security question.
Yeah.
Then I went on saying, since independence we had to face several challenges, starting from 1962 coup, 1971 first JVP insurrection, 1983 Black July and then consequent war, LTT war, then 1988 and second in JVP insurrection, and this time 2019 Black Easter catastrophe. All previous 5 occasions and all the governments in power responded to the intelligence reports and acted immediately. This is the only security lapse and disregard to the intelligence reports.
Did you receive it without any comment, or did you make a
no,
comment?
I put the question in my,
Yeah.
right. Then the reality, then I stopped at that. I said, thanks to Cardinal Malcolm Ranjit,
Yeah.
the situation was at least saved to this extent.
Yeah.
The entire country is eternally grateful to him. He is the only person he played the role of the president in your absence, and he prevailed upon. Don't go to take revenge. Don't take the law into your hands. The law authorities will do their part. You keep quiet, keep silent. Let the authorities act, and prevailed upon. And therefore, the Catholics, he was able to restrain them. And I said, Askariya Mallatta, all Mahanayakas, all other Mahanayakas, Buddhist clergy and religious leaders should express their gratitude to Malcolm Ranjit for having saved the situation, to that extent at least. And I am happy, in the evening, by night, we get the news that Mallatta, Askariya, Anunayakas have gone and paid respect. And Prime Minister went there today. I mean,
Prime Minister went to Kandy?
no, Malcolm Ranjit.
Oh, I see. Okay. Now then, Mr. Gulasekara, it's a small matter.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister says he didn't know anything about it.
No, they all say that they don't know. He made a statement, he was not aware.
This is not on, is it? People are saying they don't know, but they do know.
How how the government machinery works. I mean, when the president is out of the country, I mean the next authority
Yes.
is the Prime Minister.
Right.
There's a saying that one of the second presidents, when president is out, the portfolio of defense ministry,
Yeah.
there was no acting person.
Right.
This came up in Parliament.
Right.
So today I heard the president replied that
Yes.
previous presidents have never appointed acting defense ministers when they left abroad.
Right.
He said Mahinda Rajapaksa or Chandrika Kumaratunga or any previous. So I followed them. I did not appoint. But there was telephone calls, always the telephone was there.
Yeah.
He says Secretary of Defense or the IGP would have telephoned him, or the Prime Minister would have telephoned him.
Yeah.
And I would have promptly, within 3 hours from Singapore, 1 hour from Trichy, I would have come here.
Yeah.
But such a thing happened. The main thing is there's an absolutely, to find out whether there's a really security lapse or disregard of intelligence reports. This is the matter which had to be probed into. Now that there's a commission already appointed, headed by a Supreme Court judge, they will have to probe into this matter.
Yeah.
It's a vitally important. 300 people died, 500 injured, and see the economic losses complete. Tourist trade has completely gone.
Do you think, what do you think the government is going to have to do with that?
So now I'm asking question. Defense Secretary and the IGP.
Yeah.
When intelligence reports come.
Yeah.
And but mentioning there that there's going to be a blast.
Yeah.
Suicide squad blast. And targeted at churches.
Yeah.
Targeted at hotels. How can the Defense Secretary keep quiet without informing the head of the state? Oh, is the Prime Minister?
Yesterday,
I can't believe.
Yesterday, Rusiri Palatenakon,
Yeah.
you know him, he's very activist. a big activist. Yesterday he said that he ought to be charged.
Yeah.
That resignation itself is not enough. Do you think there's a case to charge
A criminal negligence.
What about murder by omission?
Yeah, I don't know. By that time, I am in fully agreement with the former Minister of Justice, Vijay Rajapaksa. Says they must be behind bars by now. In other countries, it would happen.
Yes, but do you think in this country it will ever happen that a minister, a serving minister, will be dragged along into court?
It has never happened.
It has never happened. Will it ever happen?
I know. So not during our lifetime, probably.
Somebody else says that the Prime Minister must resign immediately. Is that?
There's a demand that the whole government should resign. But you know,
what about this what about this statement? Is it fair comment or a fair expectation to say that the Prime Minister must resign?
Security likes me. I mean, these are in other country, the government will resign. Definitely. It doesn't happen in our country.
But why doesn't it happen?
But what I simply believe, I'm inclined to suspect or believe, I'm just, this is the pending, the commission pending, I don't want to make mention. But some sinister, some coup within coup there, it appears to me.
A coup within the coup?
Yeah, a defense secretary with even meager knowledge of, and he is a businessman, no doubt. I charged the president yesterday. On what basis you appointed Newsfirst.lk Fernando as defense secretary?
Yeah.
This is a post held by very...
What did the president say?
He didn't mention, he just kept quiet.
He was listening to you.
He was listening. I mean, his most unsuitable person was handling. I mean, we had some prestigious people. Since independence, we know people who had N.Q. Das and various people who were there. Chandrananda, I know him personally. And even Vaidyaratna was there, he predecessor. He is a thorough, straightforward man.
So, is the country in trouble?
Trouble in deep trouble.
The Prime Minister said yesterday in an interview to some foreign journalist that he didn't know, but Cardinal Malcolm Ranjit made a note soon after the incident on Easter Sunday that the Prime Minister had indicated that he knew, but that it was not within his purview.
Now, I want to raise another question. Now, the DIG, this is Nayak, rightfully, when IGP sent that pass it on that letter, intelligence report, he promptly acted and a circular to all his subordinates. Subordinates, that is, MPs come under him, the ministers come under him, MSD, ex-presidents come under him, and the MPs come under him. Security. I was MP, I was a minister, and they used to contact immediate some information, they pass it on. Instantly they pass it on. So he had done it. And all the 225 MPs were aware. The DIG had circular, no one has read this, even in the media this has not been raised. All the 225 MPs were aware of that circular.
They were all aware?
They were all aware.
On by which date?
Date, I know it was date.
I
don't know what the date was.
The letter was dated the 11th of April.
11?
Yeah.
So this happened on the 21st, no?
Yeah. So between the 11th and the 21st.
So even now even Harinder Fernando, his secretaries would have informed him. All the ministers are aware. This minister would have brought it into the notice of the Prime Minister when the President was out of the country. Why did they keep quiet? Even members of the opposition were aware now. One opposition member had made a statement to the press, Chandrasen from Anuradhapura. I was aware because I was told by the security. Be ready, don't go out and all the rest of it. All aware except the President of the country. How is that? Can you believe?
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, you know. Unbelievable.
Now,
So definitely, I mean, I can't say it's a security lapse. I can't say, I don't know whether it's a neglect of circulars, disregard of circulars. I am inclined to believe this deliberate attempt to conceal it.
for political gain.
For whatever motives there are.
At the expense of the people. But Mr. Duganasekaran, isn't it fair to say that this government have never provided answers to anything? We started off with Bondgate, right? Then the Central Expressway, the procurement of
They are
coal,
suffering from that disease.
the procurement of coal, the promotion of the long-term power generation plan. We've had power cuts and so on. There's no rational, immediate explanation for any of these.
They observe silence.
They observe silence. So do you think this matter too will just be swept under the carpet? And
No, I think if the commission definitely something will come out.
what do you think the people of Negombo are feeling now?
What?
What do you think the people of Negombo are feeling now?
Feeling now, thanks to Malcolm Ranjit, otherwise I would have a bloodbath. Yesterday I told, there would have a bloodbath in the country. Can you remember now, July 1983, July?
Yes.
You know, J.R. Jadhavan said, you look after your security by yourself. And it was engineered by UNPS. And finally,
Yeah.
I am one of those people who was languishing in jail for 55 days.
How many days?
55 days. So that is for external consumption. He said this was done by the lefty fellows. Cyril Matthew and the crowd did it and tried to pass it on to us. That is what happened.
That is what happened. Now then,
So here also, there must be, by now they engineering an attempt probably to shift the blame to someone else.
Now then, the Prime Minister was asked by some foreign media about these IS members, Sri Lankan members of IS. And he said that there were no laws in Sri Lanka to prosecute those who have been to Syria, of a banned organization, terrorist organization, and then come back. So he admits that they came back, but he also said that this is not falling within his purview.
He released that information to the foreign press. Why did you mention it in Parliament when he made a statement in Parliament 2 days earlier? This is the first time such a calamity. The Prime Minister of the country should have made a comprehensive report.
Yeah.
He never mentioned that. I told yesterday the President and the crowd, he was the President, Prime Minister present.
Yeah.
I said the cabinet of this country or the parliamentary MPs are not aware, do not know what IS is. Leave other things aside. The Prime Minister of the country would have produced a comprehensive report, detailed report. He goes to the CNN and all other places and tells various other things. First thing is he has a duty to tell the Parliament about the IS, what the IS is. He never mentioned it. And you can arrest any person if there is suspicion. In the interest of national security, you can arrest any person. You may not be able to prosecute him. You can arrest. Prosecute for there's a violation of law, they will have to go look into the law books.
Yeah.
But arrest. But he says no law to arrest. I don't know. No law to arrest.
Do you think the Prime Minister is
How
fully informed of the legal system?
Now some person come from abroad here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you say there is no law to arrest him. He may violate any law.
But there's no law to arrest him.
No law. He can violate any law, but no law to arrest.
So, what kind of people will believe these stories put out by the Prime Minister?
I think maybe the UNP backbenchers may believe it. No one else.
Now then, here we go. This is a message that we've received. Mr. Dew is right. I am from Negombo and a Catholic. I lost a lot of my friends. I am slapping myself to keep calm. This is indicative of somebody who's got a big Vedanava.
Yeah. You know, I mean, you know, the Kochigade church and the other church, that area, really this is the first time that the Catholics belong into the lowest class segment of the society, the poorest of the poor. It didn't happen here in Colombo, one of the All Saints Church or anything else.
Yeah.
And this happened in Kochigade, where ordinary Catholic people are there.
Right.
The fisher folk and all these people, right? Majority, bulk, about 90% of the people who died, who really died in these two places, belong to the lowest segment of the society, low middle class.
But I went around there, around the church, St. Sebastian's, and what I saw was a tight-knit, rather successful community. There were large houses, large plots of land, and they were God-fearing parish, these people. And you know, one person who was beside himself at the funeral said that his life had been finished because he had only one daughter and one wife. Yeah. And he dropped them off at the church. Yeah. And he'd gone to park his bike.
I mean, if you go through the stories, inner stories, you lose your heart.
Of course.
You know, that's one where the mother has said, the her daughter was sleeping, and he says she used to wake her up, forced her to go to the church. That's right. And she wanted to sleep. Yeah. And the mother persuaded him. Yeah. And she lost her daughter. And now she feels, I am the cause of her death.
Very sad, isn't it?
Such stories are there, and it's unbearable.
Now it says, Mr. Dew is right. I am from Negombo and I am a Catholic. I lost a lot of my friends. I am slapping myself to keep calm. We're repeating that question because this is indicative of what the people are saying.
So, political leadership say, we don't know. We don't know.
I want to now take you on to the vexed question of Hemesri Fernando. What do you make of Hemesri Fernando, former Defence Secretary? What do you make of him? Of his role?
I knew him.
Yeah.
When he was Secretary Prime Minister.
Right.
And so he changed his positions under all leaders, jumped from Mrs. B to Chandrika, from Chandrika to Mahinda to Ranil to Maitri, right? From jumping place to place. And I was shocked when he was made chairman of the People's Bank.
So, what should be done about him? He failed in his duty. What should be done about him? Is resignation enough?
Really, first thing is that yesterday I openly, into the President's face, I told,
yeah.
I just cannot understand, Mr. President, on what basis that you appointed that fellow to this high post of Defence Secretary. I told him. The entire cabinet was there, all the political parties, just nothing.
And what did the President say?
President say, he can't say what to do. What can he admit guilty that he appointed the wrong person? He is not suitable to hold.
Should he be charged with murder by omission?
I don't know. Look into the box. Ranil might say there's no law.
But what Ranil says is not the law. But what Ranil says is not the law.
We will consult the incoming Attorney General. Now that the Attorney General has gone to the President.
What do you think's happened to the kid gloves that this person had when he was at the Attorney General's department?
Who?
The new Chief Justice. Wasn't he the Attorney General before?
He was the Attorney General, no?
Yes.
Now he is the Chief Justice, no?
Yes.
No, I don't know.
So what I'm saying...
I mean, now he's already appointed and there's no... So
No, there's no point. But I just want people to realize that this is the person who questioned Rani Wickremesinghe at the Presidential Commission.
Bond Commission.
On the Bond Commission. Now then, what can the people do?
No, I mean, do you see the Ria Faraz is a very...
Today everything was good, wasn't it? Most of the Muslims stayed away. They didn't go to mosque.
There's a request from the religious leaders and the ministry.
So that's good.
That's good.
That's
Even
good.
not only that, Catholic Church.
Yes, and they took a decision before that not to have any mass for the moment on Sundays.
No, as far as we may think, really our political culture in the country prevailing today is a sort of a conducive atmosphere for entry of such terrorist organizations into our country. I say because yesterday I told 71 years have left since independence. All our leaders have failed in the task of nation building.
They have failed in the task of nation building.
We could not build the Sri Lankan nation. The country is divided.
And what can we do now, Mr.
I mean, there is no religious harmony. There is no national unity. So it's a climate, conducive climate for terrorism to enter. If there is unity in the country, religious harmony, no terrorist trends can easily
raise its head.
With the heads. That is a very conducive atmosphere is there, climate is there in the country. So that is why, primarily, after the first thing is there's a duty on the part of the religious leaders to have religious harmony in the country. Then there's a duty on the part of all political leaders. Leave all other questions, differences aside. There should be national unity in the country. For the country to exist, there should be unity in the country. We have failed in that task. So there are certain issues as far as the Tamil people are concerned, as far as Muslim people are concerned, various other. We'll have to solve these problems. We can't allow them to fester. So as far as this IS group is concerned, you must understand this terrorist group, they believed in a myth, they operated on myth. That's all the Muslim religions say. It is not part of the Muslim religion.
Of course it isn't.
If it is not, and they believe something myth. So the duty of the Muslim religious leaders and the Muslim community to expose this and to fight this ideologically. The government can't fight it ideologically.
But 3 years ago,
only the leaders.
But 3 years ago, Mr. Hilmi Ahmed, the Vice President of the Muslim Congress of Sri Lanka, Muslim Council of Sri Lanka, reported this one man who came from Katankudi for his subversive preaching. They reported a Muslim. That's the kind of thing you're talking about.
I can review my experience. I say when I was Minister of Constitutional Affairs, National Integration, reports came from various Muslim mosques saying that there are various elements, younger elements are operating, try to take over leadership of the mosque. Yesterday I told the President of the Council. This is about 10 years back.
Right.
In 2005 when I made Minister of Constitutional Affairs, National Integration, I along with Anuryapa, the Minister, to Kurunagala Mosque I went, both of us. There the father was in charge of the layman, in charge of the mosque. And the son belonged to the Wahhabi group. young fellow. He was fighting against the father to take control of this mosque. So I summoned both sides and brought about peace. I never expected, I mean, that text at that time, and the government, we tried to only bring about some peace in the, so they agreed, and so that was the end of it. I mean, as early as about 10 years back. That same, I mean, maybe if you take the birth of this terrorist group in the country, say about this is, now the ISS is a 21st century terrorist group.
Right.
Before that, there were various other groups. Original groups are really created, nourished by the Americans along with Saudi Arabia to fight the Soviet Union and about 20, 30 years back.
This is a wonderful story you're telling us. I'd like to hear more about it, but we've run out of time. Mr. Dudugunasekara, my grateful thanks to you for coming here. And I'm glad that you're taking that open stance in this very critical matter. Thank you very much. That's it from Newsline Prime. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend. And we will stand united as one nation, one people. Take care. Good night. God bless.
News First, Newsline Prime with Faraz Shaukat Ali.